Hey guys, it's ArchieLuxury. ArchieLuxury from the ArchieLuxury channel, the Paul Pluta channel, and ArchieLuxury corporate. Guys, keep watching. Keep watching. I need the viewers. I need the viewers. I need the subs. I need it. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Tell your friends, whether you like them or hate them. Just tell them anyhow. ArchieLuxury on YouTube. Hey guys, it's ArchieLuxury on the ArchieLuxury Paul Pluta platform there. Guys, quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing a Patek Philippe 5127. Today, guys, I want to talk about what is the best of the best. What wristwatches are the best? And I got to be honest with you, I was down at my local library and I found this great book here. It's called The Watch. It's an encyclopedia volume about watches. What do you guys think the greatest brand, the greatest watches are? Well, it's simple. Okay, it's very simple. Look at that, what's on the cover there. What is that? It's a Patek Philippe. And I gotta tell you, seriously guys, the watch, a 20th century style icon. This book here, it charts wristwatches from 1900 up until, this was printed in 1999. So unfortunately, with that cutoff date, it doesn't have the Patek World Time, because I got to be honest with you, in modern times there, that is the definitive modern classic. But this book, amazing book. You look at it, it starts off with pocket watches, and obviously Patek Philippe is featured in every section of this book. Patek Philippe is featured, and I gotta tell you, it's a great book. I wish I could. I'm trying to buy this book, but it's not available, that's unfortunately how it goes with a lot of these specialty type books there. It's hard to get them. But I gotta tell you, this is again 1920s. What does it show there? Patek Philippe. And I gotta tell you, this is a fascinating book talking about wristwatches. It covers some amazing things. Talks about the 1930s. Reference 96. That's the first Calatrava. Which grew into some. This book's amazing. And yes, Rolex is covered. Yes, indeed. There, Rolex is covered. Rolex is a spectacular brand, but where you want to know what the greatest watch brand is? Let me show you. Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe. Look at this here. This is a Patek Philippe. This is the legendary 1518, released in 1941 in the middle of World War II. It's a perpetual calendar chronograph. That's kind of, how would you put it? Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this is what this book highlights. It highlights all the brands, and Rolex features very strongly. Omega, so many brands here. But what is the greatest watch brand in the world? Well, it's pretty damn simple. It's Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe. Even when we're talking about quartz, it shows you the Rolex quartz entry there. And of course, what's that? Patek, the Beta 21 module there. So this is a very cool book. Legendary sports watches. Look at this. Look at this. AP. It's got the Nautilus, the Royal Oak, and also the Ingenua. That's correct. So this sort of book here, it goes to show you how amazing certain brands are. And the honest truth is, the greatest wristwatches of our time, the greatest watches, who makes the best? It's simple. Patek Philippe, Patek Philippe, Patek Philippe. It's Patek Philippe. I mean, no other watch brand comes close. This is the whole thing here. In going on to modern times, what do they feature? What does this book feature when it comes to modern times? Modern times, like so this book was released in 1999, I think, year 2000, just before the world time. Well, they got the 5035 world's first annual calendar. So guys, I gotta tell you, the greatest watch brand in the world, it's Patek. You look at the honest truth there, it's Patek Philippe. And it's interesting, you know, I've had debates with morons who say to me, oh, Lange did this, Lange did that. When you look at the encyclopedia on watches, it's the major milestone releases. Yes, Patek, there are other brands that had great things, Omega, Rolex, but Patek has a huge history. This is the reality. This is the reality of the situation. Patek, Patek, Patek. It's really. This is it. This is it. This is where you've got to understand here. It's Patek, Patek, Patek. This is the greatest brand. Yes, it may not be your genre at the moment. You may say, well, it's a gold dress watch, blah, blah, blah. But this is the whole backbone to watch collecting. The greatest watch brand, what brand is it? Like, I've had people say, oh, I think the finish on Lange is better than Patek. Okay, maybe it is in certain areas. But if Patek didn't exist, Lange would not exist. They have carved out that space and allowed others in. It's really quite, you look into wristwatch, the entire history of the watch, Patek Philippe. It's Patek Philippe. Simple as that. You look in a modern context, who makes the greatest dress watch of our time? What is the greatest? I would dare say it's probably the 5196 Patek, because this is tribute to the original, reference 96. It is just a classic, iconic. This whole shape and design, the Bauhaus elements. Whether you wear a Vacheron or a Lange, Patek's the brand that kick-started that whole genre. Who makes the greatest world time? There is only the most famous model of world time would be the 5110. That is the greatest world time. That is it. This is it. You could argue the Vacheron 36 time zone piece is slightly better. Sure. But this is the original. It's the original. That's correct. The original. The 5110, which is the modern interpretation of world times by Patek. That's correct. Patek is the world time brand you would associate with. Who is the greatest calendar maker? Well, they invented the annual calendar, Patek Philippe. There is no other brand like Patek Philippe. If it wasn't for Patek Philippe, the whole watch industry would be very different. And today, you look at the modern watches. Here's a modern piece. This is a 6006. Look at this. Big size, black dial. This sets the standard for all others to follow. So, I've got to be honest with you. The greatest watch brand, there's so much hype Rolex, Rolex. Yes, Rolex makes great stuff. There's also hype for the steel sports Pateks, Nautilus, Aquanaut. Yes, yes, yes. But those aren't the greatest watches. You look back on the history, the greatest watches of all time is from Patek Philippe. That is it. Patek Philippe is the brand that, I can't stress this enough to you, it's Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe. That is what it is. Patek Philippe. And I gotta be honest with you, you know, this is where I would be going. Patek Philippe. You want the best, don't follow the sheep. You know, most people know very little about watches. They know next to nothing about wristwatches. They know nothing. And I've got to be honest with you there. Patek Philippe is the greatest brand to have. There is nothing else like Patek Philippe. It invented the genre. This book is a tribute to Patek Philippe. And I've got to be honest with you there. People have no idea. Average person is a moron. It's Patek Philippe. This is where watchmaking came from. You take a look and see. Even Rolex wasn't innovating themselves there. They have borrowed many designs from other makers. Everybody borrows in this industry. I get it. I get it. Patek is one of the original, the oldest. They are a company that went against the tide. They invested heavily into mechanical movements and complications when the rest of the industry was pulling back. In the 70s quartz crisis, Patek launched the 240 movement. It's their high-end movement caliber. It's the micro rotor. And I got to tell you, honestly, if you are a serious watch collector, you must have a Patek Philippe. You must have a Patek Philippe. That is the honest truth. You've got to have a Patek Philippe. I'm Paul Pluta. Tell me what you guys think of that. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury. And who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.